Another wonderful day with another wonderful person. This time I got a great person who helping in the similar area that we are talking. But this time it's from USA, Portland. Welcome, Cindy, to my podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so blessed to be here.
Thank you, Cindy. Cindy Sharp is an author, speaker, and certified coach and laughter yoga leader. I love that one that you're doing with your love connected to that laugh in your life. Help women stop hiding. Yes, stop unmuting and hiding. Stop coming out as unhide people. And then what she's doing is she is helping them to step fully into who they were meant to be. They had a dream, they had a purpose. That's what she is trying to do. Born with a rare birth defect, she turned a lifetime of feeling lopsided into a movement of courage, confidence, and unapologetically expressing that self expression. And that's what I loved that because we all do have different way of expressing our feeling. And sometimes you need to hide the areas or the defects or maybe the illness with something over there, like we do these makeups, and then I usually wear lipsticks if I am not feeling great. So I love to hear from you, Cindy. What is your life and what is happening and how you are helping people to unmute themselves? And that's what this podcast, if you are listening this first time with me, Bismi Palatty, unmuted from Melbourne, this podcast is sharing the real, authentic, and raw stories of people gone through that tough time, and then from the they gone to the survival mode, and then from the to the thriving mode. What we are trying to share here is the methods, the practices, that the learning that they had during that life changing experience. What are the areas they have done in their self discovery path, and how these beautiful human beings are helping in their life to help other women who is going to that similar pattern. So today we have this wonderful coach helping us to laugh again, feel good again, feel happy again. So, can we start with our wonderful Cindy from Portland, USA, enjoying the time over there? But today, on this wonderful time at Unmuted, she's going to share her story again with our audience, especially for audience from Australia and around the world. Cindy, I know that you are from Portland, you're working on your own business, and then you help some organizations from your heart. Before going into all those things, tell me about you, Cindy. How did you become a coach, and what is the reason behind it?
Well, that's going to be a little bit of a lot, but let me see if I can share that with you. Bismi,
Please.
first off, thank you so much for inviting me here. I feel very honored to be with you. My story is a very unique story, and it really is the basis of every single thing that I do as far as how I live my life and how I help other women within my business. And that is, I was born with a very rare birth defect, and that rare birth defect, other than some other things, the birth defect is called Poland syndrome. It's very rare. Probably have not heard of it. Not many people have, but it resulted in my body having a congenital radical mastectomy from birth. And so you can imagine growing up as a woman and growing up as a teenager and, sharing yourself in the world that you would feel very unconfident. You would have, no worth or little worth is a better way to say it. And you would possibly hide yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I did. It was quite a lot later in life where I was actually able to kind of stand on the rooftop and yell, "Here I am, and I'm so amazing," because I always viewed myself through being what I like to call lopsided. And I
Mm-hmm.
went around in life very lopsided not just physically, but emotionally and mentally.
Mhm.
And so that's really the core of every single thing that I do, comes from that knowing that I'm not alone. There's so many other women in the world. It doesn't have to be that you're born with a rare birth defect. But so many women judge themselves so deeply in not a loving way. And
Mm.
when I sit around and talk with women, that's what they share with me. They're like, hey, I know you hid yourself for years, but I hid my light and my love and my magical being that I am for years as well. And that's kind of how I got out here in the world in a kind of a, strange little way that I started, but
Yeah,
I'm very happy that I've gone through it.
that's great. And I'm so glad that you are still here and supporting many people from your pain. Like you were going through a painful teenage childhood, and I would say adulthood as well. And then you've gone into different path, and now you are motivating and then helping many other people who is struggling in the similar area. So, you okay to share with us how did you become a single mother at a very young age? And then then you helping the women and the leaders, like in a many different ways. Yeah.
Yes. Well, let me just share a little bit about starting as a single mother at a very young age, because really, my birth defect, I was kind of walking through life, um, not feeling like I was valued or worthy.
Mm.
And I was raised by my grandmother, because my
Mm.
parents couldn't take care of me. And at the age of 17, my age of 17,
Yeah.
not her age, but the age of 17, my grandma passed away. And that put me in a predicament where, I didn't have anybody that was able to take care of me. And so, like all young girls that are begging to be loved, I went out and found myself a man or a boy, whatever you want to
Mm.
call it. I was
Mm.
very young. So I had my first child at the age of 19.
Mhm.
And boy, was that, a struggle and a challenge. One,
Mm.
because I hadn't graduated from high school yet.
Mm.
I still had this belief that I wasn't valuable, even though, a lot of women think if you get yourself that handsome husband, then you're going to be valuable. But the truth is, value comes from the inside, not
Yes.
from the outside.
Mm.
And so that's how I started actually, how I started learning to love myself was to be a mother, because I didn't have a mom that was able to love me and take care of me like I wish I had at the time. And
Mm.
having a child taught me this is what unconditional love is like. And by loving my child, and I have two girls, by loving my girls, it helped me learn that unconditional love can not only happen because I'm a mom, but it can also happen because I'm a woman that's a little unique and a little different, and I can unconditionally love myself.
Yeah. Tell me about the journey that becoming that single mother journey with two girls, because I started my journey with three boys and it's still continuing. And there are different I would say risky conversations with them. Now they are teenagers and I can imagine, like you become becoming a mother at the age of 19, and I don't think that you had that tools or knowledge or how to raise them up, and then somehow you have gained all those knowledge. So share a little bit more about that time of your life, and how did you equip yourself with the tools that you need to raise your girls.
I think that this is, a place where I'm sure you'll understand this with me, and that is I didn't have the tools.
Hmm.
I don't know that I found the tools, but what
Hmm.
I had was determination, not to be this super successful person, but a determination to be the best mother I could under the circumstances. And what that
Mm.
means is I did a lot of good things because my children know that I love them and they knew it then, but I made numerous mistakes as a single parent, always trying to, fill the gaps. First, there was the financial gap. How am I going to support these children?
Yeah.
And that was hard to figure out at a young age in my early 20s with no education. And
Mm.
then there was the gap of I just felt like because I had not had these really good parent role models, that my
Mm.
children needed role models. And
Yeah.
so I was always looking for that perfect man to try to fill that dad role.
Mhm.
That wasn't a good idea. I mean, there were just so many mistakes that happened. But this is the thing is that there are no mistakes. There's
Mm.
no, it feels like a mistake, maybe in hindsight, looking back. Sometimes it feels like a mistake when you're in the middle of it and you're just trying to figure out how to keep all the plates spinning, right? But there are no mistakes because my children had the childhood that they were supposed to have. And
Mm.
I learned tremendously through raising them how to be
Mm.
the best I could be, not only for them, but
Yeah.
for me. And
Mm.
so I feel a huge amount of gratitude that with, you know, very few tools in my tool chest, I still figured it out and everybody made it. And we're all still alive today.
I love to hear about those tools because that's the precious tools that you kept going your momentum and then raising those wonderful girls. So, what will be the one word that you talk about your motherhood that time, and what are those tools that you used for your girls?
I would say if there was one word, it was determination.
Mm.
Because I, when you're a single mom and you have these two mouths and children that depend on you, you really don't have, there's no, um, there's no little path or road to give up. It's, you have to
Mm.
stay on the road of determination. And I think the tools that were in my tool chest or my toolbox or my purse or whatever you want to call it, I think this is a tool. These are the tools that help me the most. One is I didn't know better. And that doesn't seem like a tool, but
Mm-hmm.
when you are young and you have a need
Mm.
of taking care of these children and you want to do the best you possibly can, I'm maybe there were some mistakes that happened, but I didn't know any better, and so I
Mm.
just kept trying. So I'd try this and I'd try that, and I didn't have a an attitude of it's not going to work. I just had an attitude of it is going to work. So that sounds like a weird tool. I didn't know any better, but
Yeah.
believe me, it is a tool. If you can kind of just open up your mind a little bit and think about the fact that sometimes you don't know what to do, but if you just
Yes.
take a step forward, you're going to be in the right direction. And then another tool that I had in my tool chest, which is unique and different, is the fact that I was able to, and I'm telling you, being a young single mom and not being educated and being very, very, very insecure, all those things
Mm.
kind of stirring around in a pot didn't make life so easy, but
Mm.
I was able to always land on my feet. And, I don't know if there was an angel on my shoulder. I don't know, if it was, God and the divine that was always guiding me. But what I know is there was never a time where somehow or the other, through all the struggles and challenges, that myself and my family landed on our
Mm.
feet. And I feel that's a tool in itself because you have to take steps to land on your feet. You can't
Mm.
stay, stuck in cement.
That's great because I totally resonate with you and I hear you. Because when you become a single mother all on a sudden, you can't really go back and learn and then come and do the things. You need to just move ahead day by day, fill the table, like, take them out or do their education, all those things. So I love the way that your determination is going ahead rather than failing yourself or going back to depression or not doing anything for your kids. What you have done is a great model for the people at the moment because now a small issue in their family or maybe in the parenting, taking them into deep into their depression mode or not having enough tools mindset. But what you had is that true wonderful way of thinking. I would say that your mindset, that you had that mindset is my God is there, my creator is there to help me because this is destined to be like that. And then you're ready to move on. Whatever you have, is that what you have? And I think that in our current world, many, or I would say most of women actually missing that point. Because if you are here, you have that strength to go ahead. Sometimes you need to shift your mindset. Sometimes you need to unlearn what you had in your life. In your case, you were really unknown about your skill set. But when the situation came, you know how to deal with that. And you were trying to become the best version of yourself. So that's really amazing to see that in raising girls with that self-doubt in you, like, with all many different things, because you were also trying to become a better person and then at the same time raising your girls. That's amazing to see that your journey that you're endured around this long. And that's the reason why you can help many women now. It's really great to hear, Cindy. I just want to check with you. Yeah, I know that you were going through that journey, or during that journey, you had to unlearn many things, but there are some strength that you achieved or that you kept within you, or you started to build on you. So, what will be some strength that you can feel that, look, this is only because I had that single mother journey? Can you help us to share, like, that particular strength that you're still keeping as part of your single parenting?
One of the things that I think that I learned from being a single parent is that life can throw a lot of stuff at you. And one of my biggest strengths, I believe, is kind of, moving to the side. And when something comes by that isn't meant for me, I can just kind of let it go and moving on the correct path. It's really an interesting question because there's so many amazing things I learned through that process. I learned to trust myself. I learned to trust the divine. I learned that as I said, I always landed on my feet, and I learned that. And I have to say, when I work with other women, I talk about this a lot, or we work through this a lot, is when we doubt ourselves. If we look back and we can say, you know, we've probably gone through 100 things or 1,000 things or 1,000,000 things that we've
Mhm.
tripped over, but we've always made it. And there's something really strengthening to the spirit to know, boy, I can pretty much so make it through anything. And that's what being a single mom taught me.
Yeah, that's really great to hear because sometimes that real self-trust is the whole reason for whatever the things that we're doing. We can't really find out whether I can do it, whether I can do that with my heart or whether what's happening. But that three things that you kept going on with you. And then I love that the connection that you always keeping with that divine creator. Then you know that, okay, whatever I'm doing that's aligned with that creator, aligned with around the people around you. And I love that you're keeping
Yes.
your heart all the time together. That's great. And
Yeah, you
again,
have to keep your heart open because you
yeah,
never know what's going to come around the next corner.
correct. And I know that the journey always possible the only when you are ready to be coachable. That's what the current world saying, that if you are coachable, you can be successful. So during
That's
your
right.
journey, you had to unlearn many things. Like I can clearly say that I'm still unlearning lots of things. The problem for me is to, unlearn the mindset of saying yes to everything, because it's always
Ooh.
we say yes, yes, yes to everything, and then we never know how to say no to something, because that's the area that I am working on still. But I would love to hear from you. What is the one thing that you unlearned during this process?
Well, I'd love to just share a little bit, Bismi, in
Mhm.
what you said, because, women are taught from birth that we
Mm,
need to be the pleasers, that we need to wait on people, that we need to take care of people. And there's something, I don't know why it is this way or where it came from, but there is this thing about we feel like if we say no, then we're not loved or we're not lovable. And
mm,
I said yes for so many years to so many things that didn't really serve me. And when I work with women, it's one thing that we talk about a lot because it's unfortunately the struggle of women is
mm,
to constantly say yes. I have this saying, and that is know your no's, which basically means know what is really a yes for you, and if something's a no, honor yourself and your heart and your path to say no to it. So I just wanted to share that. And then, of course, I forgot your question.
yeah. What is the one thing that you unlearned during your journey?
I unlearned the fact that it doesn't really matter what has happened to me in my life. It doesn't
Mm,
matter what my body looks like. It doesn't
yeah.
matter. It doesn't matter, if I have a good day or a bad day. I had to unlearn that I
Hmm.
wasn't valuable.
Yeah. That's
That was
true.
the biggest
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of women feel that way.
Exactly. And I was going through your pages and your posts, and I can see how tremendously you moved. And from that 17-year-old girl who was looking for love through different ways, more of I would say that cup of not filling and then going through to make that effort to fill the cup, to a
Right.
successful motivational woman who motivating many people and then making their life better. That's an amazing journey that you are continuing. And then I know that you have done wonderful job of converting and transforming many women in your journey. That is for sure. I really wanna, check with your heart. Like, is there any specific incidents or like any stories that you still connect? Okay, with my help, this particular woman, moved out of this specific thing or unlearned this something, and then you're still really proud of that. Is there? I know that there will be lots of testimonies, and I really don't want any identifications, but again, to figure out how women around USA actually picking up the unlearning my mindset.
One of the things that happens a lot is that, we're more alike than we are different. And that's
Mm,
something that's really important to understand. And so it's not that that it's my way of doing things is, the my way or the highway approach. It is that once you really connect with another human being, and I work with women, um, once you connect with them and you really understand the path that they've walked. So I told you my path of having a birth defect and being a single mother after, not having anybody to take care of me at the age of 17. And, that's kind of my core story. Everybody comes with a core story.
Yeah.
And I've helped women with all sorts of different backgrounds. One of my favorite stories is a lady that her mother passed away when she was very young. And
Mm-hmm.
her father, which goodness gracious, losing your wife and having to raise children on your own, it's not an easy thing to do, not
Mm,
for us girls and not for men. So I have my heart goes out to him. Um,
mm,
but the thing that was the challenge for her is, I think he was so worried that the kids were not going to turn out okay because he
mm,
was responsible for them. So he
mm-hmm.
was very critical. So here this woman lost her mom and
Mm-hmm.
then had this very critical father that,
Wow.
she could do nothing right. And
Uh-huh.
the only thing she wanted to do as an adult was to own her own business. But
Mm-hmm.
couldn't tap into the magnificent beauty of the being that she is.
Mm-hmm.
And by just learning her story and us working through talking about it, journaling, and sharing different ways that she could change her mindset, she
Mm-hmm.
started taking baby steps out in the world so she could start this business.
Mm-hmm.
And today, and the business she wanted to start is she wanted to be her own real estate agent.
Mm,
And
okay.
today she's the number one real estate agent in her office. And that's not because she worked with me.
Mm,
It's because somewhere along the line, she reached out and she said, I need help.
mm,
And it happens to be that she came to me for help, and
mm-hmm.
I supported her on the dream that she has because we all come here with a dream. That's what I believe. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that, that the divine sends us here with a
Yep.
mission, and that our goal is to spread our love and our light and our joy that we have here on this earth, that we have to this earth and to other people. Um,
Mm,
it happens to be, uh, unfortunately, that many people live their whole life and they never really tap into the fact that they have this magic in them
mm.
that's supposed to be shared. So
Yeah.
that would probably be my favorite story.
Yeah, that I love. I can clearly feel that how you changed her mindset, her beliefs, and then starting that baby step, loving herself and figuring out her dream, and then step into those ones, and then picking from there to becoming that real estate agent. And especially real estate agent means that you need to communicate and articulate in a pleasant way that you can't really do that if you are not filled with that feeling that inside the heart. So there was a
Right.
great transformation that you have done in her. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really pleased that women are coming to you and then they're getting what they missed in their life and they started to love themselves. I think that's the one thing maybe our generation should know because especially I'm from India where we don't have self-care in the dictionary at all.
Right. Right. I totally understand. Yes,
Yeah.
um,
And
it, it,
yeah,
it
and
is
it's
it is so
selfish if you
important.
think about it. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. It is so important to have self-care or to take care of yourself. But it's not just India. It's
Mm,
really an epidemic around the world that
mm,
women were not taught in their younger lives that
mm-hmm,
they were important enough to have a voice.
mm,
And that's the goal. The goal is to allow women, not to teach them, not to show them how, but to allow them to tap into their own voice. And
mm,
when they do that, then they start caring about taking care of themselves better, and everybody around them
mm.
feels it.
Correct. Very, very true. And the life, I would say, thinking about the way that the government, the world was considering and dealing with women in last 20 years, 200 years, and now it's getting really better, but we still need to unmute. That's the thing, because if you are there making that voice, then only you will get the justice. And I think most of the world, like most of women, is still walking on eggshells, thinking that no, I don't have that capacity to speak up for my basic needs and rights. So I think that's where the power of your coaching coming up, Cindy, because people like you are really empowering them and then telling them this is your basic right. It's nothing, extra. It's nothing fashionable, or it's nothing like, I would say, like, everybody here say that, okay, that's only for some VIPs. No, it's for everybody. You have to just speak up for
Every
your rights. Yeah. I
right.
actually taking back to your life of, like, more of like, you mentioned different times about your connect and divine connections, and the divine purpose that you felt in your life. I was talking to my teenage son yesterday, because he was struggling with, he's having cerebral palsy, but intellectually he is really okay. He got physical issues. And then we were talking about how the teenagers will feel that sexual feelings, and then how we deal with that. And I was telling the same story, because if you are here on this universe, God has a purpose, and then that is in there in you. But if you are attracted with all this temptation, whatever happening, you will lose that purpose. You will be addicted to all these different things, and then you forget to come and back to that purposeful life, and then forget to really do the right thing. So that is a common theme for teenagers these days, but I feel like that is a common theme for women, especially when, if you are a mother, if you are a wife,
Oh,
and
yes.
if you, yeah. So I was thinking from your life and your experience and that wealth of knowledge that you are sharing, what can be maybe like a couple of things or an exercise or thought process that you can utilize in your life to come back to our purpose. Like, we are deviated with social media, all the news around, but how do I stick with my purpose? What can I do for that? Or is there anything that you do in your life to stick with your purpose and do towards that purpose?
One thing that I do with my clients, and this is where we really kind of get down to what is most important to you. And
Mhm.
it's not unusual as us human beings that we don't have the faintest idea why are we here? What is our purpose? Now, I'm very blessed. I was born with a birth defect. And that
Mhm.
birth defect made me hide my light, my joy, my mission. It all that I just hid and put on the back burner and paid no attention to it. So for me, it's very easy to go, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to help other women that feel like I do. They might not have the same path, but they feel like I do. And one
Mhm.
thing that I find really helps, whether you're a woman or you're a man or you're a
Mhm.
young teenager like your son, is to learn through writing. Now, everybody doesn't love to write.
Mhm.
You could do this through um, your phone and doing a recording. You could do it through writing. There's many different ways you can do it, but you start with. I'm going to just use writing for instance because I work with women and we do this through writing.
Mhm.
Um, we start with this very very simple
Mhm.
question.
Mhm.
And the question is, why am I here?
Mhm.
And we write down, why am I here?
Mhm.
And then we write down whatever comes to us. And then we ask it again. So we look at what we've just wrote. So let's
Mhm.
let's just do this like a little kind of role play, we'll say. Why am I here? And
Mm,
maybe I write down, well, I think I'm here to, help animals. I'm gonna
mm,
make this up. Um, and then the next sentence would be, if I'm here to help animals, what is it I'm supposed to do? And
mm,
then the next sentence, and that might come up with, well, you're supposed to, rescue
mm.
animals. I don't know, I'm making this up
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
And then if I'm supposed to rescue animals, you know, how am I supposed to do that? And you just keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And once
Mm-hmm.
there's a rule about this. It's actually a a science, we're going to call it,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the best way to explain it. Once you do that 7 times, and you
Yep.
just keep going over and over and over, when you get to the bottom, you usually have a really good answer. And the answer isn't, this is the answer to the question. It is the thing that moves your heart. And you'll go, wow, I didn't
Mm.
even know that, because you have to dig fairly deep within your mindset, within your heart, within your soul to
Yeah.
start to get the answer.
That's a real good exercise, and I should try with my son because
There
I
you
was
go.
thinking about, like, what should I do? Should I ask my psychologist because he's having cerebral palsy, he's going to psychologist, and I was thinking, yeah, I can only talk, but there need to be some real exercise that he should follow because of his brain. He's hyperactive and he is highly sensitive and highly anxious. So that's a good way, sitting down and then writing what he really wants to be and then what can be done for that one. Yeah. So my
Right.
listeners, if you are listening to Cindy, Cindy is a coach in US and she's doing around the globe in a very different way and then bringing your inner self and then coming to your dream. So if you think that you need a help with an experienced person, not from the books, but from the lived experience and the knowledge that she gained from and 19 years of motherhood and still sharing many people. So I will be sharing her details under this video. And if you are hearing us first time unmuted with Bismi Palatty, it's happening every week. I will be uploading wonderful single mothers or people who are experts in helping single mothers and then people who are teaching them what are the things that they need to learn. And if you like it and if you think that you resonate to these stories, just subscribe and review and please add comments because we just started from Christmas last year and then we would love to share all the stories around the globe and inspire that. So I'm coming back to you, Cindy. A couple of questions more to share your wisdom. I am actually having a bit of like a study about intersectionality of single parenting along with the Federation University in Australia. The framework that I picked up is faith, family, finance, and feminism. Those are the four areas a single mother usually, struggle to pick up when you move out of a family with no money, no understanding, and then nothing. Because that's what my life, I had to come out, didn't have much understanding how to deal with finances, how to deal with the family relationship, how to do things in the way that I want to. The only thing I had is I had a faith in my God, even though I was confused whether I was doing right or wrong. But there is faith in the God, but I didn't have faith in myself. And that's why these four elements that I usually always ask the single mothers and then see whether it's just me or is it a pattern or is it like a common for everybody. Do you resonate to any of these four elements of intersectionality during your life? Or if so, can you share a little bit about those ones?
Okay, so let's just repeat them. So it's faith,
So,
it's
faith,
family,
family,
finances,
finance, and feminisms.
and feminism.
Feminism.
Uh,
More of like
okay,
an identity as a woman. Yeah.
sure, sure. I think if there was one of those that I
Mhm.
really resonate with, it's faith. And the reason is because without some faith, and you said it,
Mm,
in yourself, I mean, there's obviously faith outside of yourself,
mm,
but faith within yourself to know that you're here for a purpose, to know that you're walking on the right road, even when it doesn't feel like it's the right road, when you know that you can have faith that you're going to land on your feet and everything's going to work out. Faith is definitely going to be the number one strongest thing. And all four of those are important, but faith definitely comes first. And it's not only a religious or spiritual or personal faith with, a higher God, but it's also that faith within yourself.
yeah, thank you. Thank you for, connecting to that because sometimes I feel like, yeah, we're always going through that uncertain road every day because I do still remember that days we'll be calling ambulance and at the hospital, one twin will be one of my friend's house. The next early morning I had to go to work and all this uncertainty. The only faith is that there will be someone, as you mentioned, there will be some angels there to help us because we
That's it.
believe that
That's it.
we are actually. I always think that it's a masterpiece or whatever that creator made that we just playing the roles. He is the one who directing everything. So if you have that
Right.
faith, it is so easy to, live the life. But if you think that you are the director, you are the conductor, you are the sponsor, you are the producer, then it's so hard to live the life. So thank you for, sharing your mindset and then your way of thinking in that one. I know that you clearly mentioned that you always connect with your life and then figuring out good things. Again, I know that it will be a bit tiring and tedious things to hear all the stories and then helping your other woman. So, but what is the right way? What are the things that you keep in your life to keep that faith going, keep that positivity going inside you? Do you have any rules that you usually do in your life or any practices?
I feel that it's really important to have some kind of a religious or spiritual practice that you repeat every single day. I believe that if you make a intention of connection
Hmm.
and start your day with that intention, then the rest of your day and your life is going to be so much more rewarding. And you
Hmm.
also, I'm sure you will relate to this as a woman of God, and that is when you connect,
Hmm.
a lot of times it helps you with your mindset and your inspiration. So, what
Hmm.
I do to connect is every single morning, first thing I do is I get outside, which is not
Hmm.
always that easy where I live because it rains a lot and it's very cold. But I get outside first thing in the morning. And then the next thing I do is I come inside and I meditate and pray. And I
Hmm.
make an intention for the love that I want to spread on this
Hmm.
particular day. And I do that
Hmm.
every day. And I feel that just by setting that in the morning makes
Hmm.
such a big difference throughout the
Yeah.
day and how I feel about myself and how I react to others
Yep.
because I've actually, put a good, loving intention out in front of me.
That's great. Thank you. I have another question, which again, I would love to check my own thought process and what's other people' opinion about it. There is a saying that I always hear from my mother. You have to forgive, you have to go back. And I picked up from yes, I'm ready to forgive, but it's hard for me to forget. So I just want to check with that. Do you agree with that? Forgive is okay, but forgetting is not okay. Or do we need to forgive and forget together to start a brand new life?
I think that's a really super great question. And I don't think that question is being asked enough out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just talk about forgiveness as a whole first
Mm-hmm.
before we get to the forget part. I read this book. It's called Radical Forgiveness. And in that book, there was the teaching that
Mm-hmm.
is really a science-based fact, and that is when you can forgive yourself and
Mm-hmm.
forgive another that maybe did something that would be hard to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do that, the connection to that thing or the connection to your belief or
Mm-hmm.
the connection to the struggle, however you want to put it,
Yep.
no longer holds any weight. There's no, it's like there's a cord attached to this thing. And as soon as you really let the other person off the hook and you let yourself off the hook, that cord just gets cut. And that is called radical forgiveness because it's when
Mm-hmm.
you allow that to just let go. Now,
Mm-hmm.
are you ever going to forget? I'm going to say something that maybe not others are going to agree with, but there
Mm-hmm.
are sometimes as a woman, there are
Mm-hmm.
things that we have gone through that I think it's important for us to hold in our memory. Do we have to
Mm-hmm.
be attached to that cord and still holding on to it? No.
Mm-hmm.
But to
Yep.
keep ourselves safe,
Mm-hmm.
to keep ourselves in a place where we're really trusting ourselves, I think it's okay not to forget everything. Forgiveness, yes. Forget,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's as important. That's my opinion. I think it there's, I'm just, without getting too detailed, there's some things that happened to me as a young adult and as a young woman, that if I forgot them, I may put myself in a situation today that doesn't keep me safe. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to know, and it goes back to that statement, know your no's, which
Yes.
is know where you're supposed to be, know what's not right for you. And so I think it's okay not to forget. That's my opinion.
Very well said. And then, opinion, it's always matter to our own life, and different people have different opinions. And I
Yeah.
agree with you. But there are some guests that gave a bit more things like, if you forget, you will have a bit more better, brighter future. But I believe, you need to forgive. Yes, radical forgiveness. I love that. And keeping that memory to protect us is obviously important. If you are
Yeah.
listening while you are driving or while you are doing some work, and if you may be wondering that who is this speaker at the moment with Bismi? She is from USA Portland. She's a leadership coach and speaker and author and teaches women how to stop hiding and trust themselves. So please connect with Cindy Sharp from USA if you want to know how to do all these things in your life. So if you are a single mother listening to me now, next question is the best question that you can take an action now, because I really want to ask Cindy about our single parenting. So, Cindy, I just want to check with you if if one of the single mothers are listening you now, like, I'm a single mother and I know that my podcasts are going to single mothers group. So, what will be one single tip that you can give, especially practical emotional tips so that they can maintain their life?
I think that there's a lot of tips that we've talked about as we've been here today. And if I was going to say anything to all the single mothers of the world, it
Mhm.
would be, you're going to make it. You're going to be okay. Your kids are going to do fine. You can stop worrying now. It's okay. That's what would be a very, very simple thing that I would want them to hear. As far as something that they need to do,
Mhm.
single mothers do too much already, so they don't need to do more. They just need to understand and lean in to the fact that it's going to be okay. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. So, my friends over there, You will be okay. The most important moment of your child's life is those moments with them. So give that moment with your with your kids. You will be okay. You are going to okay, and your kids will be okay. That's an amazing tip to hear, because when we hear that from that heart, Cindy, that's really really, like, soothing, and that's giving that confidence, like my next day is going to be okay. That's great. I really want to check with you one more thing, because I love this method that you mentioned over the conversation, that love drop method. That's what you're helping women. Could you, like, share a little bit about your coaching program, how we can connect with you, what will be a bit of, like, the program structure, so that, my listeners can reach out to you, please?
Yes. So first off, if you'd like to get started, you can go to my website, which is called the selflovedleader.com, and you can get a free downloadable workbook, which is 5 steps to stop hiding. And the point of my work is to support women that know that they have a gift, they know that they're here on a mission, and they're ready to put aside the struggle and the strife and to stop hiding the magic that's within them. And so if I was going to, give an idea of what the love drop method is, it's a real simple way to explain it. And that is, we come to this earth before we come, my belief, and maybe somebody here that's listening will understand this and believe this too. And we're sent here with something that we're supposed to do while we're here. And
Mm.
that it's our goal, not in a, you know, goal setting way, but it is our mission. It is our heart that we're here to spread this love that we're supposed to spread.
Yeah.
And that what I do to help women is to stop hiding and to get out and do their mission that they were meant to do while they're here. And the love drop message is, you have one love drop in you. That love
Mm.
drop is that gift that was given to you by God. And all we have to do is figure out what is that one love drop and
Yeah.
get you to stop hiding. That's it.
Great. That's great. So, my listeners, check out that. The website is the the selfloveleader.com. And if you are in TikTok, go for Coach Cindy Stop Hiding. And then if you are on YouTube, go for the Self Love Leaders 124. And if you are an Instagram lover, the Self Love Leader is her handle. And if you are in LinkedIn, check for Cynthia Sharp one. So you can clearly pick up her, and she's very active with wonderful content in the Facebook as well. So I would highly recommend. The reason is that I didn't know Cindy. I saw her wonderful post that gone right into my heart, resonate to my goal, resonate to my life tagline, the love, joy, and peace. And that's where we connected, and that's where we shared our stories. And then now you are with us hearing her story, and then how she is empowering the women around the world. So, Cindy, thank you so much for
Thank
connecting
you
from
very
the
much.
other side of the world.
I thank you so much. And I just want to say before I leave that I'm so grateful that I got to connect with you. And I love the name of your podcast, Unmuted, because many of us women have muted our light for so long. And now is the time for us to rise up and to heal this world. And it really needs that. So thank you for being so brilliant with your naming of your podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And again, if you're hearing us first time or didn't know much about Cindy, please connect. And I'll be putting all the handles under this video. I'll be uploading all details about Cindy. And I'm sure that Cindy will help many people around the globe through her coaching program. That divine love in you, that one drop is enough to spread the whole world with that wonderful empowerment. I always believe in Mother Teresa's world. A little candle is enough. If you are doing little things with the great love, that's enough to light the world around you. So that's what you're doing in your space and spreading that across to Australia now. And then we're connecting and then sharing the same goal. The only goal is that no woman in this world should be muted because of their color, circumstances, their race, their age, whatever the reason, because everybody has a right to unmute and then speak up. So, thank you again, Cindy, for joining us. And thank you, my audience, listening to us. And if you think that you need to know more about the programs that we are doing in Australia and in Cindy in US, connect with us. That's where everything's starting. One little connection will make big collaborations, and then you will live your dream life. This is Bismi Palatty, happening all different things and making it happen, because these little connections that we are having now through our hearing, the voice as the power going into the heart, and then we are here to empower the whole world. So anyway, we are wishing a wonderful International Women's Day coming up in March. Let this one drop of divine love help you to unmute. Thank you again, Cindy.
Thank you.